Okay. Welcome to Cookies and Milk, episode
30.
30?
Yes.
Big
3-0.
30th episode.
Oh, God, we should have opened these beforehand. No!
Definitely not.
No!
I've been your host, William.
I think the podcast is over. Crank a little bit more. Okay.
We are having the Girl Scout cookies Thin Mints again, and we will complete this entire roll of them.
How many are there?
Oh, fuck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Perfect. 8 each.
Fuck. So, completing the bag counts up with the rest of
Today's episode, which
is
is
a topic that we will get off immediately.
it's completion in video games.
Huh. I said get off immediately, followed by completion. I like to make a toast. The 30th episode.
30th episode. Big 3-0.
Blackbeard is my father.
Oh, God. How far we've come.
Yeah, I wish we could go back. That was my favorite bit.
I want to be in the past. It's not going to get better than that one.
Yeah.
Today's episode is about 100% in games.
Yeah.
I platinumed Nioh yesterday. Or will be 5 days ago.
Right.
Upon release of this episode.
Will it be 5 days or 4 days?
4 days. I don't know.
We're recording this on Thursday.
Right.
Instead of Wednesday.
Schedules got shifted around. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yes. So between Sunday and Monday. So 4 days.
Right.
Or however amount of time has passed since this episode went up.
Right.
Because time works like that.
Right.
I platinumed Nioh, and, like, these games always have a very similar theme to them of, like, I'm trying to think of games... What a dog. I'm trying to think of games I platinumed where I enjoyed getting every single trophy out of them. Because it's not many of them,
I think this is my third Thin Mint. How many have you had?
This is my second.
Okay. Why are you keeping it over there?
I want the crinkle next to the phone.
Okay.
Oh, God. And Christ. No. No!
Oh, man.
Like a fucking ASMR at this point. I did mention last episode, I was like, I hope they can't hear me rubbing cookie. They could, in fact, hear me rubbing cookie. It was, like, very clear to the entire podcast. And then there was one point where I stopped for, like, a bongo, and you could also hear that.
Of course you would hear that.
There's the last...
Completing Nioh!
The last trophy that I had to get in Nioh
was the platinum. Get all trophies.
The one immediately before that was do 60 requests at the blacksmith.
That's simple.
It's absolutely not.
Oh.
You have to spend, like... I had ended up spending, like, 11 million gold. By the time I beat the game, I had only put in, like, 20 requests.
Oh.
And that's beat the game. 100% mission completion. And then all the Kodama and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
So you have to do those... You have to play 3 more times?
Basically, you have to play a bunch of New Game Plus, or there's this one mission in the very beginning that's a request from Ginshio, I think it was. Probably butchered that. But she just wants you to go in and find a chest that spawns in one of 3 random places in the map. It's always one of these 3 places.
Okay.
And more often than not, it's the first place you can check. But once you find this chest, open the chest, and get the item, the mission ends. So you don't have to fight anything. There's no bosses. You can just run through it. It's a side quest.
Okay.
And there's a trick you can do where you can run under it and look up. Like, there's this big building, and you can look up into it. And if the chest is there, you can see it. So then you can know if you have to run in and open that, or just keep running and do the first one, or keep running and go all the way to the end.
Wait, so if it doesn't spawn in that area, do enemies spawn instead?
No. The same enemies are there regardless.
Okay. But you said you didn't have to fight anything.
You don't have to fight them.
Oh.
If you just run fast enough, you don't have to fight them.
Well, that's how Souls games works. Souls-like games.
90% of my, 90% of me doing that mission was, like, getting to the chest, opening the chest, picking up the item as, like, an enemy's axe was coming down on top of me, and then them just dying.
Yep.
But I just did that consistently, and I had a Guardian Spirit that was terrible, but upped my gold percentage by like 20%
Oh.
for all gold received.
Okay.
Only in mission, though. The reward gold does not get affected by that.
That's understandable.
And like the gold you get outside is chump change, so I really shouldn't have been using this Guardian Spirit.
Uh-huh.
And then I got bored of that, and I was like, I'm just going to dive into New Game Plus. And it gets really fucking hard. But it's just sort of sad that, like, my Platinum trophy, PlayStation takes the picture,
Yeah.
and it's in the blacksmith, just looking at the blacksmith, and it's just like,
Oh.
alright. Because, like, I had gotten every other trophy. I finished, it ended up being, like, 106 hours
Yeah.
to get the plat. But I had finished every other trophy by, like, 95.
Uh-huh.
And I was just like, alright, fuck, it's like 10 extra hours of just grinding and getting gold in order to do this last thing. But it was fun altogether. There weren't any trophies that I was just like, alright, absolutely, fuck this shit.
I could platinum Mass Effect Andromeda, I think.
You should.
I definitely should. Mass Effect 1 is a game that I don't know. Like, I've played the game a lot. But I would need to play it. There's 6 squad mates in that one. It's Ashley, Caden, Garrus, Rex, Tally, and Liara. You need to play the majority of every mission in the game with every single squad mate to get their singular trophy.
Oh, God.
I've only gotten Tallies. I tried getting Garrus's or Rex's along with it, but I guess I just didn't use them enough. But so I would have to use, say I would have to play with Rex and like Ashley together for the entirety of every mission. But then I'd have to play the game again with like Caden and Liara. And then I'd have to do the entire thing again with Garrus.
Like,
and
it's
someone
literally,
else.
once you get these squad mates, you can't switch off using these squad mates.
So that's 3 more playthroughs.
God.
At some point, I would need to, in one of those playthroughs, play Renegade. And that's hard for me because,
Right, yeah.
you know.
Don't want to do that.
And in one of those games, I need to prioritize getting every single codex entry in the game.
God.
And I don't know how to start doing that. I've done a lot of talking in Mass Effect 1. Like, there's a lot of talking. Every single point I find, I try to talk about. I don't know what else I can do.
I think that's what gets me for a lot of these completion trophies, is that there's no way to track
Yeah.
how many of these you've done. There was a trophy in Nioh.
I wish there was a thing that said codex completion rate.
Yeah.
Like 100%. How many of you had 5?
That was my 5th.
So
I
I
need
need
3
I
more?
have-
You need 2 more?
I need 2 more. I'll just grab mine, and then I'll give you...
Oh, that works.
Yeah.
There was a trophy in Nioh with visit every hot spring.
Yeah?
And it was just like, well, fuck. Because hot springs are very specifically hidden.
Right.
And there's another one for find every Kodama, which are the little guys you have to find around that give you boosts.
Uh-huh.
But there's a Kodama sense. Like, a lot of different things mark Kodamas on your map as little green dots.
They don't mark hot springs?
There's no way to mark hot springs.
Huh.
And there's no, like, thing on the side of a mission with hot spring check or whatever. So,
Right.
I literally, it was like, go to every hot spring, and I was like, I don't know which hot springs I haven't and have been to.
Yeah.
And there's a stage that's just hot springs. Like, it's a spa.
Really?
So there's, like, fucking 8 hot springs in that one stage alone, and I'm like, did I stay in every single one of them? I got very fortunate because the first hot spring I hadn't gone to was the last one.
Uh-huh.
And I just did it, and I got the trophy, and I was like, sweet.
Oh, okay.
And then there was, like, I had to get all the best materials, and the one material I hadn't gotten was from the very final boss, and I was just like, God damn it.
Okay.
Gotta do that shit again.
You've platinumed a lot more games than me, but I think I've had more fun platining the games I've platinumed than you have. Oh, fuck. I just remembered something. There's a video online of Mass Effect 3, and it's Garrus's ascent to godhood, and it's just, if you compile... I watched this person leveling up Garrus, and all they did was prioritize his assault rifle damage. So it was like 20%, 30% on top of that, 50% on top of that, and another 25% on top of that. And it's like, and then it showed Garrus gameplay, and he was just mowing down boss level characters.
Jesus.
So Banshee would just like hit her shield would go down, and then her armor would go down, and she'd be dead. And Garrus is just like
God
firing with his gun. I need to show you that after the podcast. It's fucking amazing.
Have you platinum games that aren't Mass Effect?
I've only platinum 2 games, and that's Mass Effect 2 and 3.
Right, of course.
Technically speaking, I should not have platinum Mass Effect 3. And I feel bad that I have, because I can't beat the hardest difficulty in the Citadel DLC arena mode.
Didn't you beat the one, the Leviathan DLC? On Insanity?
Do you mean Arrival? Arrival, I think I did it on Insanity, but it doesn't matter. Any game mode because it's meant to, you're meant to lose in that state. The
right.
waves of waves, because I was on like peaceful. I don't know if I went that far, but I was on normal, and it was still as hard as it is on Insanity. There's no scaling of things.
Huh.
But the only way, and if you're looking to platinum, really platinum, because trophies with DLC, they're added on to the
like 100%.
100% it. I'm not talking about platinum anymore. You need to pick the soldier class on Arrival. No other class, I mean, I haven't maxed out every single class in the game. I've only played like a few engineer games, maybe like one engineer game on Mass Effect 3. I've done some Sentinel stuff. Sentinel's my favorite class. I started out with Soldier. I did some Infiltrator. I know I did a whole game of Infiltrator. Whole series of Infiltrator. Never Vanguard. Never Adept, I don't think.
How would you Vanguard charge then?
I know, crazy, right?
You beat the whole game without Vanguard charging once?
I've beat the whole game multiple times without Vanguard charge.
Impossible.
I know, crazy, right?
That's how you haven't 100%ed it yet.
Right. No, I have 100% in Mass Effect 2.
But not Mass Effect 3.
Because fucking... The N7 difficulty is tough. It's so hard. You're fighting yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You're fighting every single form of Shepard that ever can be and will be.
The Alpha and the Omega.
Right. The Shepard and the Shepard. But you gotta have the soldier class, and you gotta use the adrenaline, their triangle, because it slows down time. And what you want to do is, in Arrival, in the fight, you'll probably clump up in a corner, and they'll swarm you, and that'll be bad. But what you want to do is clump up for as long as you can, kill as many enemies as you can, and then do adrenaline, and then just sprint to the other side of the map, where no one is.
Right, of course.
And then you're clumped up in a corner again. Your adrenaline might take a while for your adrenaline to come back, but you're shooting the enemies again, and it doesn't matter. So just do that for the entire fight.
Of course.
Maybe have energy drain. No, you can't have. Yes, you can. You can have energy drain because squad abilities. Once you do their loyalty mission, you'll get one of their abilities to just use. So I think you can use energy drain because that is one of my favorite moves in the game because it takes their shield and gives it to you.
Oh God.
In Mass Effect Andromeda, you take their health and make it your shield.
Oh God.
I don't know how that works. I don't know.
You literally drain their energy.
Right. Alright, I'm going to check my milk.
Alright.
Do some more talking.
So, on the opposite, if you want to... I'm really loving my Nioh, like the way my Nioh character ended up. I went very basic. Like, I tried to go in the Kusarigama and all sorts of wacky ninja stuff and magic stuff. And, like, really go into my skill and everything. And then I ended up doing that, but I switched out to spear. Like, I had a fire spear at the end of the game, and have a fire weapon. Legitimately always have a fire weapon. I don't care if you're only fighting fire skull wheels forever, you have a fire weapon.
Okay.
Like, the other elements are pretty good. By the end of the game, I still didn't know what water did. I still didn't know what earth did. I knew what lightning did. I didn't know what wind did.
You platinumed a game you didn't fully understand?
I platinumed a game I didn't fully understand. All I know is about the other elements is that if they're already on fire, the other elements confuse them.
Alright.
And that's all you gotta do. So, my setup was I have a lightning sword and a fire spear, and that's the best, because lightning slows them down, and fire does gradual fire damage.
Okay.
And gradual fire damage is going to kill every enemy for
Well,
you.
you said lightning slows them down?
Yeah, if
Okay.
they're paralyzed.
Right?
Go heavy into ninja stuff and go heavy into magic stuff. The magic shots are really good because against every enemy who's not a boss, they can pretty much get the element on them in 2 hits.
Okay.
If you have the element weapon equipped, you're going to get it in 1 hit. And then the ninja tools are the best. They're just... You need them. The spear is going to help you fight every single boss that exists because very few of them have a range that's bigger than the spear's range.
Post ninja tools. Get it? On Tumblr, it's like post cow tools.
Oh, yeah. Of
course.
Alright. Wasn't sure if that was a different meme.
No, it was the cow tools.
It was the cow
meme.
tools meme.
Sorry. The big 30th.
You should apologize.
The big 3-0. I'm talking about cow tools.
We had to...
Post ninja tools. I thought if I said it again, it'd be
One
better.
more time. Try it again.
Is that gonna be the title? Post ninja tools.
One more time.
Post ninja tools.
God, yeah, like a cow tools. Oh, good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Bring it in. Oh. Okay, keep talking.
That's pretty much it. And then just evade everything.
All right. Well, of course. But here's my dream setup for Mass Effect 3. Go Sentinel, or any class that has the biotic move Throw, and just pick your desired weapon. I chose the assault rifle, so you have 100% cooldown bonus. And then, eventually, if you have the Citadel DLC, you'll get the gun that never runs out of ammo.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's just the normal gun from the first game. Because, ammo wasn't a thing in the first game.
Yeah, they somehow got regressed.
Worse, yeah. So I think it's like the N7 Eagle. I think that's what it's called. But it's the silver form of the Avenger rifle. And it'll never run out of ammo. Upgrade it to shit. Like, upgrade it a lot. And then get the throw ability that lets you throw 2 throws at once. So, like, I'll just fight an enemy, and then I'll just hurl 2 throws at them.
God.
So it'll be like...
They're dead.
Yeah. I scared Evie. Or they'll be on the ground, or I'll just keep throwing throws at them because they come back. Like, they come back immediately.
God.
So, and then I think I might have warp ammo on, or some type of ammo on my gun. So that's good. And then just profit?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Or you just Vanguard charge and shotgun everyone. But I wouldn't know. I've never done a Vanguard playthrough. Which seems weird.
Yeah, you think you would have at some point.
Oh, right. In Mass Effect 1, you gotta use every move and get enough weapon kills with every single weapon.
So you literally have to do every
You have to be every single class with every single weapon special.
I don't mind games that are like, you have to do 1 or 2 playthroughs, or you have to do maybe 3 playthroughs. But, like, how many classes are there?
There is Soldier, Infiltrator, Sentinel, Engineer...
Adept?
Oh, hold on a minute. Just think of okay, damage type. There's combat, there's tech, and there's biotics. So...
Each one has 2?
No. No. There's full combat, there's full biotics, there's full tech.
Oh, and then there's mixes of the 3?
So there's combat biotic, biotic tech, combat
If
tech.
you say one more than that, 6.
Combat tech. That's 6 classes.
So, I was right.
So I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
Fucker.
Alright. I deserved that.
So there's 6. No, you misunderstand.
Yeah, I thought there would be
There's
more.
6.
I didn't understand math.
But I was thinking a different one.
You do have to play 6 classes.
Right, there's 6 playthroughs, and that's a lot of fucking playthroughs.
Yeah, but I think if I maybe hadn't just continuously played Sentinel and a single Infiltrator, I don't know. Like, that point in my life, I don't know how I was able to play an Infiltrator. Like, I just played through an entire version of all of the Mass Effect trilogy as an Infiltrator. I can't remember anything. I can't remember anything from that.
Snuck out of your memories.
Probably because it was just always... I always just played the same baseline Shepard, and I love it. I love that Shepard.
Right.
But yeah, maybe if I had paced it out correctly instead of playing like 2 Sentinel runs and no other run.
Instead of playing Mass Effect 2 7 times.
Oh boy. I played it too much. I don't know if I can... I don't know. One day, maybe we can go back. Maybe you could play throughout the entirety of Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3.
And that'll rejuvenate you and you can hit it again.
What?
And that'll rejuvenate you.
And then I'll play through
one again.
And then like we'll record your playthrough and then we'll record mine. And then mine will be better.
Of course.
I'm throwing up. I feel sick. I felt sick whenever I played Mass Effect 2.
What I do want to do, this is sort of my dream for if we ever have like a real big YouTube channel going.
Yeah.
Is I want to do like 24-hour live streams in which we just sit down, you and me, and then we just play through the entirety of the Mass Effect series.
It can't be done in 24 hours.
Fast.
You played Have you seen Mass Effect 1?
Then here's what we do. We live stream until we're done.
Fucking Christ.
Mass Effect 1, 2, 3, and Andromeda.
No! What? And Andromeda!
And Andromeda.
Don't throw that on there! It's so much more!
Yeah, you're right. It is so much more.
No.
We suicide mission, everybody dies in 2, and we just keep trucking.
Definitely. Oh my god.
Is that fun to you?
No.
24
I'd be so sad!
Literally just like crunch time. It's different. I also want to do it with Metal Gear Solid. I want to do it with Final Fantasy.
Mass Effect is a game... Holy shit. Holy shit.
Final Fantasy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Crisis Core, 8, 9, 10, 10,
We're going to play Crisis Core right after 7?
Right, immediately after 7.
Okay.
We pick up a PS2 emulator.
PSP emulator, you mean?
PSP emulator, sure.
And then we watch the special Final Fantasy 7 movie.
And we try not to fall asleep.
And then we wait for the remake to come out. We play that as well.
The remake immediately, of course. Kingdom Hearts is in there somewhere. We also have to play...
We're already doing that!
But no, I think that'd be a lot of fun. I think it'd be a lot of fun to just sit there.
I think it'd be hell.
By the end of it, we're just like fucking both passed out.
You don't understand how long Final Fantasy games are.
I mean, alright, not Final Fantasy. That's maybe getting a little intense, but I think it'd be a cool test of like just a super fucking long charity live stream where we just fucking play the entirety of the Mass Effect series and test our limits as human beings.
On N7 Day?
Oh yeah, November 7th.
November 7th.
And it takes us a full year, so we end on November 7th the next day.
Oh god.
Dude,
on the next day?
It's a fucking 365-day stream, dude.
Holy shit.
We've just been streaming eternally.
You're insane.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I already did it.
Whoa, crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
While you were talking, I did it.
I actually booted it up.
I'm just skin and bones. I didn't eat.
Yeah, that's the trick. We have to figure out how to eat and...
I could give you the controller and then sit down and eat.
We take turns sleeping.
We're on shifts.
Neither of us.
I'll stand watch.
How exciting is that? Like, it's fucking hour 27 of just playing. We're like starting up Mass Effect 2 and we're just dead.
Martial law has been applied. Oh god. I learned, I watched a video, extra credit, you know?
Yeah.
Because I said the word martial law and it got me thinking of this, and how Tom Clancy's The Division is like a nightmare. Like, it just, like, the American government has sleeper agents all over America just waiting for this type of event.
Oh, yeah.
And then they fucking gun down people that are trying to survive.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, like, not all of them are looters.
Yeah.
I mean, what's different? Oh, Christ. It was just, especially at that point in time when police were shooting civilians.
Yeah.
They're still shooting civilians, but it was in a bigger focus.
I do like how in The Division, is it New York?
It's New York.
Alright, so it immediately delves into chaos in one of the places where they have the tightest gun control in America.
Yeah.
And it's just like, better best out the AK-47s.
Yeah.
That area is the fucking lawless zone.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
It's sort of hard to believe, I think.
But, it's hard to quarantine Texas.
Yeah, you couldn't do it.
You want to quarantine Austin?
I think it'd be
Phoenix?
slightly more realistic.
Phoenix, Arizona. Never mind.
Same thing.
Dallas is what I'm thinking of.
I just think it's slightly more realistic if it was like the deep south. And it was like, oh, the apocalypse is here in the Deep South, and everybody pulls out guns because of course.
Right.
Because of course.
But it couldn't be a biological outbreak in the Deep South.
Because 2 people would die, and that's...
2 people would die, and that's
and
it.
Fucking, it's like, whoops! Now the cows got it.
They're still shooting guns!
Christ! That's the plot of Resident Evil. It's the newest Resident Evil.
Yeah. Have you watched any of that?
I've watched a little bit of it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, like, because it's a game I'm going to play eventually, so I don't want to watch any of it.
Okay. In
VR?
VR?
Yeah, I want to play in VR. It's going to be the Heavy Rain of this generation.
You hated Heavy Rain.
For reference, I got Heavy Rain and I was like, well, I don't want to play Heavy Rain without the move because I feel like that's the true way to enjoy it.
God.
And then I got the move and I couldn't climb like a muddy wall and I was like, oh, I hate this.
God. You just ruined games for yourself.
I just hate games, I think is the... I beat... here's my favorite thing I did about Nioh.
Yeah?
Like, I feel sort of bad. I didn't... Because I didn't beat all the stuff in New Game Plus, but it was just sort of more of the same. Like, I had done it all before.
Yeah.
And I was just sort of, like, cheesing through levels at that point.
Yeah.
Like, I would just fucking skip enemy encounters. It was a lot of fun, though, once you know where you're going, and you can just literally skip through entire stages.
Okay.
I figured out a trick in, like, the first area, where you can cut through, like, an entire quarter of the level. If you douse yourself in water, you can run through fire. But you never need to learn that until later, because there's no way to douse yourself in water, or no way you're supposed to. But there's a big bucket of water you can just back into in the first stage. And then you can run through a little bit of fire that's otherwise blocking your path. And because you don't have enough health to get through it and all that bullshit.
Right.
But you can just skip through the entire area and it was awesome. And then the second area I was literally just like jumping off cliffs and stuff because I had the health to do it. But there's a bunch of challenges near the end of the game that you don't even need to do to platinum it. But they're just like boss rushes and boss combinations.
Oh,
like
God.
A bunch of them are just like 2 bosses at once and it's like...
That's not skill.
You're supposed to do it with co-op.
Oh.
But you're right, it's not skill.
It's not skill. You shouldn't need to use co-op.
I cheesed the fuck out of it.
Of course.
Dude. Like, I felt bad because I was like, I'm just using the spear and backing up and jabbing and backing up and jabbing and backing up and jabbing.
That is a way to do it when you're fighting 2 bosses. Dark Souls is a pretty... Of course, it's a game series to compare all types of games like this.
Yeah.
I've called Nioh Souls-like.
Yeah, it's Souls-like.
But did Nioh get any flack for that?
Being Souls-like?
No. For using 2 bosses at the same time.
Oh, I don't think anybody really
got to that point.
Yeah, I mean, like I didn't hear anything past a certain point in the game
because Dark Souls 2 in particular came under scrutiny for just annoying boss fights.
Yeah.
And, like, it was like, oh, you just had 2 boss fights. You just had two of the same boss in the same room, and that's skill. And it's like, oh, no, it's not.
I mean, I've expressed my disinterest with that before. That it's like a bad boss fight can really fuck with you. Were those necessary boss fights? Did you need to do those in order to progress?
Absolutely.
Well, that's the
I never
problem.
do optional bosses. In Dark Souls, in any game.
Yeah.
Wait. I feel like... No. I don't.
I did, because I wanted to squeeze as much out of this game as possible. So I saw the extra missions and I was like, I'm absolutely going to do these.
Right.
Regardless of how bullshit they are, I'm going to do them. And then I did every single one of them. There's like a boss rush mission, and like, there are 2 types of missions at the end of the game. It's just either 2 bosses at once, and it's fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Or like, scaling. With, like one of them is, the worst one by far was like, skeleton with bow and arrow and big skeleton. And then if you don't kill them in time, Lost Soul shows up. And Lost Souls are just you. It's basically just a player character. And then it's like, alright, whatever, and you're getting the shit kicked out of you by them. And then you kill all those. And then 2 more Lost Souls show up. Really? And it's like, fuck this. And then you kill both of those. And then 2 more Lost Souls show up. And you're like, please. And then you kill one of them, and then another one replaces it. Oh. And they're 2 big ones. And if you look away from them, like if you get far enough away, they'll just pull out their guns and auto-aim at you. And it's just like, this is garbage. Kill all of them. That's a big skeleton, a normal skeleton, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? 6 Lost Souls.
Whoa.
And then 2 bosses show up.
What?
At the same time.
Oh, God.
And I like... it pushes you to your absolute most survival limits. Because I was like, I can't afford to use elixirs. I need to save every single one of them for the bosses at the end. I can't afford to use any of my ninja tools because I need to save them for the bosses at the end.
Yeah.
But I did it. It was bullshit, and you can imagine. You've seen me get angry at video games.
Absolutely.
I was playing that mission for literally like 30 minutes near the end there, and I had no elixirs, and it was just me and the last boss. And they were like half their health, and I was at like half of my health.
Did you beat them?
I beat them.
Oh, shit.
But you can imagine it in your head how mad I would get had they killed me there.
Oh, definitely. And you had to start all over?
And I had to start all over. There's no checkpoints.
Oh, man.
There's another one that's like, it's like the 5th boss, and then the 2nd boss, 5th boss, 6th boss, 2nd boss, ultra final boss.
Oh.
Like there's a final boss, and then there's the secret final boss. And that thing shows up at the end of the boss wave, and you're just like...
At the end of Dark Souls 2... At the end of Dark Souls 2, it's, you get to the kiln that you have to... It's the throne that you have to ascend to.
Right.
And it's flanked by two... It's by the defenders of the throne. And it's, like, a woman and a man, and the man is, like, a big tower shield knight, and the woman, I don't know, I think she has, like, a whip, or she's very, like, she's a fast fighter.
Right.
And you have to beat him. And then the final boss shows up when you don't heal and you can't do anything else.
Right.
I don't know how people are able to do what they do in Souls games where it's like, yeah, I can get good enough to the point where I can fight 2 enemies at once and then be good enough to fight the final boss without having to use anything.
Right, yeah.
I hate enemy boss fights, and it's done a lot in Dark Souls 2. Like there's a room that's just 5 enemies, 5 bosses.
What the fuck?
Like 5 bosses. I'm gonna look up bosses in Dark Souls 2. Every boss in Dark Souls 2. You start this. There it is. Do you mind if I use your phone?
No, you're already doing it. Go ahead. I was thinking about other games that have done this, and then Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel to a lesser extent have raid bosses that are effectively just impossible by yourself.
Right.
Unless you're playing some fucking bullshit ass, perfectly customized character. Like, videos online of people who are like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and one-shot the raid boss right now.
Did you drop your phone again?
No.
Okay. It just seems more cracked.
That's the screen. The screen protector gets cracked
I know.
super easy. And it's just like, I'm going to go ahead and activate all my reloads and just kill this boss in like 30 seconds. And it's like, alright, cool, that's reasonable. I'm never going to be able to do that with my Borderlands thing. Because I set up my character to have fun, mostly. And I just use the equipment that's good and feels good. But there's a certain, like, level beyond every game. Like, you can get good at a game, and then you're getting the absolute nonsense at a game. And I like to think that's where I was at the end of Nioh.
Yeah?
Since I could finish... I beat every single one of those bosses that requires co-op. That, like, you should probably be using co-op, and then I just beat them, like, just naturally. Mm-hmm. I mean, I cheesed the fuck out of them, but I don't give a damn. I still did it.
There's skeleton lords. There's like 4 skeleton lords, and you have to fight off their hordes. Yeah. Oh, I mean, if you use strike-type attacks, they're... Yeah, this boss exhibits strength in numbers. If you're not careful, the sheer amount of enemies on the field can overwhelm you. You first face off against the lords themselves, who use pyromancies and melee attacks. They take a long time to actually start attacking you, so use this to your advantage and get in 1 or 2 hits on them. Use the mounds of skeletons as cover. Each skeleton lord spawns a different type of smaller skeleton when killed. Halberd will spawn regular skeletons, Scythe will summon armored skeletons in few numbers, and Staff will summon bone wheel skeletons.
Oh, fuck!
Yeah, Dark Souls made that first.
Jesus.
I
mean, I'm aware. Dark Souls did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's just skeletons that... PV snoring. She's having a dream. PV's awake again.
She woke up, she's scared herself, she had a nightmare.
PV has a lot of nightmares.
Is she going back to sleep?
Yeah, she's back to sleep. But yeah, They'll just start rolling around.
That was the nightmare. There were a lot of extra things in Nioh. Were just like, hey, welcome to this area. We need you to kill a bunch of these enemies that are just showing up. And it was just like, all right, fine. What do we got? A couple skeletons. It's reasonable. Oh, a couple bird monks. That's the fucking worst thing I've ever seen. Oh, yep, that's Fire Skull Wheel right there. Just keep on summoning Lost Souls, whatever. Just summon as many enemies as you want. I don't give a shit. That the first boss? Why the fuck not?
Yeah.
You know you're in a weird place where the first boss summons and you're like, thank God. It's just that.
Really?
The first boss, by the end of the game, is literally a cakewalk. I can do that thing in seconds.
No, I hate Cleric Beast from Bloodborne.
Bloodborne
Cleric
has
Beast.
one of the worst first bosses I've ever seen. I don't count Cleric Beast as the first boss. I count Gascoigne.
I would count.
Never fought the Cleric Beast.
I wouldn't.
So I don't count the Cleric Beast.
I wouldn't count Gascoigne because fuck you.
Oh, sorry, I don't play optional bosses. I only fight Cleric Beast.
No, it's not that. It's the game tricks you. The game is made to trick you in that point in time because the guy you talk to, the first fucking guy you talk to, is like, oh, you might want to go see the fucking cleric. It's just across the bridge, the big bridge. You can't miss it. And it's like everything there is leading you to the bridge, and you're like, okay, I'll go across the bridge, and it's like, Cleric Beast. Yeah. Door's locked. This was never a way you can go.
So annoying.
It's a big trick, and the game sets it up. The Cleric Beast is supposed to be the first boss. I don't know what the fuck they were thinking with Gascoigne. I'll give it that, but that's not the first boss. He is the second boss.
Man, now that I beat Nioh, I'm like, maybe I should go back to Bloodborne, and then I'm just like, I got nothing but bad memories of Bloodborne.
After you beat the Cleric Beast, or maybe even if you lose to the Cleric Beast and you talk to that guy again, he's like, oh, the gates are closed off, then you might want to try going for the sewers then. And then it points you to Gascoigne.
I got lost in the first area. It's not that
that's why you found Gascoigne.
Yeah, it's not that I didn't want to fight the Cleric Beast, I just didn't.
Any of the maps can be kind of difficult. I remember Dark Souls 1, I just felt lost.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons I like Nioh so much is because instead of one large sprawling map that you gotta navigate through, it's several self-contained stages.
You say that, but that's what Dark Souls is. With a bit more,
twisting and turning.
Chances for twists. Dark Souls 2 was more of a stage select than the other. Not Dark Souls 3. I don't know about Dark Souls 3, but Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 1 was kind of open. You could go to a lot of places that lead to the same places. It's weird. But Dark Souls 2, it's like you go one way, and then, and that takes you to one place. But then you can't go that way anymore until, later in the game. So you stop going to, what I think is called not the Forsaken Fortress, the Abandoned Fortress or something.
Right.
And that's where you fight the last giant, and then you get that key. And then I think you go the other way, and then the rest of the world opens up there, and then you go... God, it's been so long since I played Dark Souls 2. You have to go... Fuck. Are there 3 ways you could go?
Jesus, you're disproving yourself so much.
It doesn't matter. You know what? It's not like, oh, let me just walk around this mountain range and then I'll find someplace. It's like there's 2 corridors.
Right.
I can go down one of them and then the other one.
I feel like I was going to say something.
There are 3 ways, but you can't access the 3rd way until way later in the game when you get the chance to unpetrify things.
Weird.
And No, you don't get the chance to unpetrify something quick. No, because it's like this one woman, and you can't unpetrify her. Oh wait, that's around the end of the game. No, that takes you to the castle. When you unpetrify her, you can get to... It takes a second, but you get to the Drang Lake Castle.
Huh.
which you meet the queen, and then you go into the crypts, and you find the king. And I don't get into the DLC, so that was just that for the rest of my game.
Right.
Then I can't. Where the hell do you go after that? I'm not. This isn't the podcast.
Like the plot of Dark Souls 2.
I played it in like 2012.
Jesus Christ, you're trying to remember a game from 5 years ago?
Yeah.
I feel like I had something to say here.
Fuck, I couldn't have played it in 2012. That was my Mass Effect kick.
Some point.
2013? Wait.
Did you play before or after?
When did Dark Souls 2 come out? I think it was 2014. I don't... What am I thinking? I couldn't have picked it up in 2012. It couldn't have been... Dark Souls 1 came out in 2012. No, that's not right.
March 11th, 2014.
Yeah, I'm glad I caught that, because people might think I never played Dark Souls 2.
Right.
I need that gamer cred that I played the...
Next time Scholar of the First Sin is on sale, because that's on PS4, right?
Yeah.
Next time Scholar of the First Sin is cheap, I think I'm going to pick it up.
I'd say I'd do that because I like Dark Souls 2 the most out of the trilogy. And
Yeah.
that's not... I hate Dark Souls 3.
Ooh.
Like, I don't like it at all. And I mean... I don't know if it's the gameplay, maybe I'm just bad at video games, but boy, do I feel like it's not welcoming to people who play a heavy knight, because they got a big hard on for Bloodborne combat, and they didn't understand how to make Dark Souls combat again, and that makes me sound like an asshole, but I'm pretty sure it's true.
No, that's what I've heard. It's very Bloodborne.
Like, and I go in with and apparently like poise is a stat in the game, and it's like how easy your stance can get broken.
God.
But the stat itself is non-existent. It's set to 0 like always until you get a ring that increases your poise. But that wasn't like that in Dark Souls 2 and 1. I think it was because it was so... I don't fucking know. It was like easily manipulatable in those two games.
Oh, right.
I don't know. You'd have to ask someone else who actually pay attention to stats in Bloodborne. Not Bloodborne.
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls.
One of the things I am really... Like, I want to play Bloodborne again. Because, like, I bought it, and I feel like I was too hard on it when I first started. But there's so many different things that are just like, man, I really don't want to do this again. I don't want to fight Gascoigne again. I don't want to spend time getting fucking lost as I did in, like, the first area and the second area and every other area.
You didn't beat Gascoigne, did you?
I did.
You did?
I beat Gascoigne, and then here's where my mistake was. I would have continued to play Bloodborne if I hadn't done this.
Did you go back to the Cleric Beast?
No, I didn't. I never fought the Cleric. Or, no, I did. Here's what happened. I beat Gascoigne.
Yeah.
And then some friends of mine were like, hey, you want to play Bloodborne? And I was like, oh, sure, I'll just hop into your games. And they're like, you actually can't hop into a game of a person who's a higher level than you, so we'll just grind you up there pretty quick.
Oh, God.
And then, like, we walked back and they killed the Cleric Beast, and then we walked forward and they killed the lady in the poison lady.
What?
The poison dog in the place.
Oh, fuck that.
And then
I hate that boss, though, but you should... I can't beat it.
And then
I can beat it, because I beat the game,
right.
But...
And then, like, so... That all had happened, and then they were just sort of like, alright. And then I was just sort of there, and I was like, didn't feel like I got here. I feel like I was just sort of, like, dropped into a later point in the game.
Like, I'm proud of what I've done in Bloodborne. Because I was able to beat the game primarily single player.
Yeah.
There were points in time when I really needed the help. But mostly, Bloodstarved Beast, that's her name.
Yeah.
Fuck a Bloodstarved Beast. God. Because there was a point in time when I was just like, I can't seem to get anyone in multiplayer. I guess I just gotta do it on my own. And then I did it on my own.
Feels good.
Definitely. The final boss, I didn't get the true ending.
Yeah, that's another reason I don't want to go back to Bloodborne. Because it's like, hey, you've been playing with a guide? No? Congratulations, you got the bad end. And I was just like... That's fun.
It's the stupidest thing.
That's good game design.
Oh god, it's so bad.
I can't... Why are people like... That's fine. That's a totally reasonable thing to do. There's 3 random pieces that you can miss, and they don't tell you about them, and there's no fucking hints.
Oh boy.
And it's just like, and if you don't get them, fuck you.
Yeah.
Start it again, asshole.
Right. It's like what we're talking about is that you need to get 3 pieces of an umbilical cord, but it doesn't tell you anything about them or how to get them
Or where they are.
or where they are, and if you lose 2 of the, I think it's like you can get 5 pieces total or maybe 4 pieces total, but you need 3.
You only need the 3 of them.
If you fuck over 2 of your chances, you can't get you can't get a ending?
The true
I can't
ending?
call it a good ending.
Because you don't, like, nothing better happens to you. In one ending, you're in a wheelchair, and the other one, you're a squid.
And the other one, you wake up.
Spoilers for Bloodborne.
And the dream continues. But
Fuck Bloodborne.
Yeah. Spoilers for Bloodborne's. I like Gehrman as the final boss.
Yeah. It's sweet.
Hunter Battles is so good, which is strange because Gascoigne is so fucking annoying.
Gascoigne's Hunter form is fine.
Yeah, you're right. Gascoigne's Hunter form is fine.
Once it turns into a big old dog, it's just like, oh, cool, I guess I don't win this fight anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
But I like the story behind it.
Yeah, I like...
Because if you can put it together that Gascoigne is the father the one child is looking for, then playing the music box and seeing him react, that's good game thought.
It's cool plot, story, and stuff.
Yeah.
If only they had put that much effort into designing a playable boss fight.
It's too much, and maybe that's to teach the player that'll be something that happens. But I don't know.
Fucking the welcome to Dark Souls. Shut the hell up. Shut the fuck up. I get it. Your game is difficult, but you don't have to like. This is how difficult the game is. Shut up. Shut up.
I mean, no. Like, some people might say it's like, oh, it's pretty predictable. Gascoigne's not predictable.
He literally just
Wolf Gascoigne is not predictable.
Like, normal Gascoigne is literally fine. Normal Gascoigne is a great boss fight.
It's like if you get invaded by a hunter.
Yeah, and then it's just like, oh, turns into a wolf and he can jump in the sky and then fall on you. And it's just like,
right.
What do I just be rolling
the whole time? It does one of my favorite moves in any video game. Any fight. Like, it does the...
Oh, it just stands up
and kicks? Just a horizontal kick.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, like, raise. It's just a straight-up lunge of a kick.
Yeah.
That Ganon does in Super Smash Bros. It's one of my favorite things. Just because it's like, oh, here's all the power I have in my leg.
Yeah, it's just literally blunt force. I've officially talked myself out of playing Bloodborne again. I'll do it one day.
I know.
But not today. Because it's weird, because I usually dive into opportunities to hate video games.
Yeah. Also, fucking... I remembered I missed an entire area in Bloodborne because it was like... Canehurst Castle. I missed out on armor and weapons. Part of the game... And the main, a big quest line in the game, because I was like, what do these summonings do? I don't know. And then I could never use them. Like, it became, if I didn't do it at one point, I lost the ability to do it later on. And it's like, well, that seems annoying.
Yeah.
And I'd already beaten the game by the time I think I had already beaten the game by the time I learned what to do with the Canehurst summons, and it's like I don't want to play the game again.
Yeah.
There's a thing that kind of annoys me in Dark Souls 2. After the end of my favorite character's quest line, and I have to kill her. I think I see her.
Oh, the rose, the crow.
No, in Dark Souls 2.
Oh.
Eileen is in Bloodborne.
Right.
But, no, I think it's like, yeah, she loses herself, and then you fight her brother, the one she searched so hard to find. Right outside of where she lost it all.
Jeez.
And then I'm like, that's feeling pretty cinematic. And I go back and she's not there. And it's like, oh, fuck. And then I walk into this room. And then, like, this giant bone dragon trap. And it's like, it's this big cinematic thing. And then I'm dead. And it killed my mood immediately. And I'm like, alright, fuck you. And I got this weapon, quote-unquote weapon. It was a key. It's just a key that I can use as a weapon. But I can't upgrade it. Even though it was, like, a decent weapon I had.
Right.
It's called, like, the key to the embedded. And I went in through the entire... And I know you need to have some forethought and, like, imaginative thinking in these games. But I couldn't think of it. And there are these women in, like, non-barred cages.
Oh, you use the key on the cages?
You gotta stab the women. I think. I never looked it up. But I think the women are called embedded. And, like, as soon as I was done with that place entirely, I was like, I should use the key that I never used on anyone to stab the women. Because it's not a key. It's a sword with a key handle on it. Of course I would stab women with it. Dark Souls 2.
God, what else did you do with a weapon?
I use it to fight enemies, but then I took it to the blacksmith. It's like, that's a key, my friend. And I'm like, fuck you.
A key to what? And he's like, to some ladies.
What?
You stab them.
No.
You do it, and the game's just like, what the fuck, man? Like, the lady's just like, what are you doing?
Attacking NPCs, huh?
You like hitting women?
I can hit you with a much bigger sword. And then I pull out just the fucking Cloud Strife greatsword.
Yeah, Jesus.
And then I just lunge them into the sky. I've hurt my leg by slapping it so much.
I was gonna say, I like the weapons in Bloodborne.
Oh, they're so cool.
Like, the sword that's sheathed as a hammer.
Oh, yeah. Or the sword that sheathes into a bigger sword.
Yeah. Or the cane that's like a whip. I was jamming to it.
Yeah.
If only the game was good.
Oh. The axe is the best of the three you can choose, though.
Yeah, I know.
It's just so good. The combat and hitting things just feels so good.
Yeah, like, it all had good game feel to it. Just didn't have the best game design to it.
Like, some bosses were just the worst.
I think we talked about this on the podcast
We definitely talked about this.
I think we talked about this in the Lost episode.
Did we talk about... Oh. Really?
We talked very briefly on it, because we talked about PT. And Bloodborne is another game that I'm just like, I don't understand why people fucking like this so much.
Yeah.
Like, I played a good amount of it, and it wasn't like... I mean, like...
There's a skill to it that draw people of the highest caliber of gameplay lovers to it, or also lore lovers.
Like,
because the Souls series has such in-depth lore that you gotta dig find.
Dig for it. That's why I like... Nioh, all in all, felt like a very casual sort of Dark Souls experience.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of depth to it, but I heard from a lot of people it's just like, oh, it's just way easier than Dark Souls is. And I can agree with that. I didn't die as many times as I thought I would, and a lot of times I did die is because I was getting really cocky about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then until they were like, here's the boss rush modes, or the final boss, or like the final ultra boss, or the final boss, or the double bosses, I never felt really pushed. I was gonna say something else. But that's not exactly... It's not a bad thing. But there's also, like... The lore was right there. Like, it was consistently telling me a story. There were cutscenes, there were dialogue, there was interesting characters.
Yeah.
All real.
The thing... Real, you say?
Real. These people really existed.
Non-fiction?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was the most ridiculous part. He plays the whitest man in all of Japan, and I was like...
And it turns out he's real.
Yeah, he was he was the first Western samurai. Also, the first black samurai was there. And then a bunch of real Asian samurais were there.
Of course, you are in Japan.
And they were all real people who really existed.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Even the black samurai?
The black samurai was a real dude.
Ridiculous.
He actually had a lightning bear follow him around.
Really? That's amazing. The only one who actually had magic.
Mm-hmm.
with Bloodborne though, there's nothing quite as good as going into a boss battle you've never played and beating it first try.
Oh, first try boss
think
battle was so sweet.
In Bloodborne, I think I did find an optional boss, and it's one of those things that you see. You've seen them, right? The giant things that cling to the wall, the towers in Bloodborne. They're amygdalas.
Yeah.
You fight one of them. You've gone deep into the dream at this point in the game, and you have to go kind of a ways to it. And I was just exploring, and then I walked in, and then just the amygdala slams down, and I'm like, oh fuck. And I don't know if I beat it first try, but I know I beat it solo.
Yeah.
I hope I beat it solo. I did get a critical hit on it, where I just stick my hand in its head
Jesus.
and just pull out. I can't remember what I got for it.
Man,
But you could cut off its arms.
I really love the whole
Concept?
the stuff behind Bloodborne, like the eye or whatever, the wisdom.
Oh.
What was it called?
Insight?
Insight. Where it was the more insight you got, the more fucked up things around you looked, and you could start seeing them hanging off of towers and stuff.
Yeah, even before you actually understand what they are.
Yeah, they're just there, and it's oh shit.
Yeah.
I got myself back onto it. I'm gonna play Bloodborne.
Play Bloodborne. You have it at your house.
I have it at my house. I'm gonna start up a gunslinger file, I think.
Well, of course, you use guns in
Only
the game.
guns.
You'll be killing yourself.
Guns
are a means to an end.
Gotta make myself hate it somehow.
They're a setup.
Well, I'm only gonna use weapons when I'm attacking critical points.
So you only critical hit?
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright.
Oh, God.
I think that's a good point to wrap it up.
Yeah.
The moral of the episode is Nioh is really good. Fuck Bloodborne.
I don't know about that.
And Mass Effect is a video game.
That's true. Platinum games you love.
Or
Alright.
hate.
No.
Alright,
definitely not.
later.
See ya.